we live in a world of duality. We live in a world of polarity. We're not going to be able to necessarily escape that. And it takes someone that's very connected to themselves to be able to feel that fully. And, you know, I've talked a lot about like, why do we do this sort of work to begin with? It is to heal connection. It is to heal relationship. First off, relationship to self, so that you can be in relationship to another. Because if you're not connected to self, when you are trying to connect with another, it's actually not you. It's a representative of you. And that representative is not actually you. It's the disconnected version of you that's connecting to this other person. So many people, I think, moving through their life, trying to connect to people, but they're not actually, they're doing themselves a disservice because, and probably not even consciously, but because they're connected to so many people, not from their true self, but from the representative of self. So you start to weave this web of all these connections that aren't actually you. And then all of these people, we put each other in boxes, right? Mm-hmm. You know, compartmentalization and labeling is something that's so norm for the human psyche. It helps us to measure. We have to compartmentalize things. We use words to compartmentalize things, such as the word love. It's a compartmentalization of something that is non-compartmentable, you know, if that's even a word. But to be able to like hold that sensation inside, feel that, and to be able to communicate that is the reason why we do this work, to be able to be present with another person, to be able to form deep relationships. You have to form a deep connection to self.
We live in this Western world in a very distracted culture.
Oh man, I feel it.
And we live in two worlds. There is a social digital world and there's a social physical world. And it was a really interesting conversation last night I had with a guy who was showcasing his disdain for the social media side of life.
Yeah.
And he made a comment about how, you know, he goes through his feed and it's just entertainment and mindlessness and unconsciousness and just verbal, basic vomiting. Everyone is just trying to add to this giant noise. And I said to him, I really love social media, but not for the front end. I love the back end. And what that means is essentially I told him I love social media for the ability to connect, the ability to be with others. And I do that in the DMs, is the direct messages. Very rarely do I open social media and go through my feed. It happens, but not often. I go straight to my inbox. And it's not just an exchange back and forth through text. There's video opportunities. There's audio message opportunities, and there's an opportunity to connect with people on the other side of the world that I would never have a chance otherwise. And they send me videos and they show me where they live and they share their life with me. And I have actually built and cultivated really incredibly strong relationships in my social media DMs. And it really comes down to, what do you value? He couldn't even fathom that. He was like, wow, I've got too much time in the physical world. And I told him, I was like, I love that world equally. People in front of me, there's a certain type of felt sense, and that can exist, but there's something also to be said for people that actually will never get an opportunity maybe to encounter me in the flesh. But still, even though that's not the case, there is still a deep reverence for them. And when I had lost my father, and when we lost recently Parker, I had hundreds upon hundreds. I think I had 400 and some after my father's passing, and over like 150 after Parker's transition. And I got back to every single one of them and thanked them personally for each and every message, because truthfully, that's my support. That's what makes this whole process for me a little bit more gentle, a little bit more tender. When we go through these things, isolation is not the answer. We need that community to hold us, to hold us and support us. To be held is such an incredible feeling. It's one of our first feelings, one of our first sensations in this entire world. So to be held, it feels so good, especially by people I've never met. People I've never met care so much about me. And that's a concept that I don't think we've really had much time to really even understand. Social media hasn't been around that long. But I find my support, my community, and I find my love in the direct messages of social media.
It definitely struck a chord because I did go back through the messages that I had with Parker, and there were some exchanges that were not as heavy on my end. And we get busy.
Yeah.
We get busy. We say we're busy. It's really like, I'm so busy right now. Well, actually, no, you're right in front of me. I'm busy. There's so many things.
Yeah.
And how many times do we put pressure on ourselves? Like, there's so many things to do, but those are things that you're saying to yourself that you could be doing right now, that you're actually, we have just this ridiculous expectation and of how much we can get done. And really, if it's like, if I was really honest with myself about how much stuff I could get done in one day, where I think I have this endless to-do list of all these different things, and there's so many things to be done all the time. And I think that's something that you've really helped me with. But we'll transition into like just building this business, because it's really caretaking a child, right? There's always something to be done. There's always something. But it really, to see some of the messages go unread really was a dagger in my heart. And I think that that's something that you, just as sitting by his bedside, were able to accumulate all of the felt sensations, all of the love in your heart, all of the moments shared, and package that up into, and just gather all of that. That is an art form, to be able to package that up and deliver that into words, into a communication, into one little thing that you say. But there could be the energy of 1,000 experiences behind that. And that's something I definitely need to work on, especially when it comes to social media and just connection in general. But like you, I've heard you say so much, and I know that you truly live by this, is that connection is your currency. And whether it's physical connection or whether it's through social media or the digital media platforms, connection can be made because people can feel you. And especially when you get into voice and also video. I mean, you scroll through social media and you don't resonate with someone always because of the things that they say. It's the felt sense energy behind it. You can feel whether the words are landing, what's actually being communicated beyond the words. But connection truly is our currency. It truly is. Even within ourselves, we want to be fully connected to all of the parts of ourselves. We want to occupy all of ourselves. We want to be connected to our fullest expression. We want to be connected to all the parts that we love about ourselves, all the parts that we don't like. We actually secretly want to be connected to those. We want to know about them. So many of us ask for feedback all the time about what can I do better? We want to know the parts of ourselves that are lacking.